Hello, this is Anthony. Let's walk and talk. So, today we're going to talk about your conscious mind and how your conscious mind can sabotage you from your unconscious mind. You see, we've talked a lot about on this channel about the unconscious mind, how it's programmed, when it's programmed, how these things occur, and how that loop creates cycles in your life that don't benefit you. You see, what most people don't understand is your conscious mind is only about 5% of where you're at. Your subconscious mind is the equivalent of like this huge rock, and your conscious mind is maybe that little piece right there, that little statue on top of the rock. And in order for you to learn how to reprogram and overcome the subconscious mind, you must learn to work with the triggers and whatnot that help you to understand the subconscious and in order to reprogram it. But here's what happens, and we're going to talk about a couple of different things today that are going to hopefully give you a better understanding of how your conscious mind ends up supporting your subconscious mind, which is why it becomes so difficult to create meaningful change in your life. Okay? So the first thing we're going to talk about things that I think people don't actually consider in their everyday life. Something that for me, I think I was blessed or fortunate to learn early on, and part of it is in my soul's journey. There are certain aspects of music, for instance, that I discovered that my soul loves. I had no idea. And suddenly, this music resonated with me, and it was music early on that I started to just always have playing in the background. Now, most people say, well, there's nothing special about that, Anthony. You just had a different taste in music. No, it actually goes, you start to see how this builds upon each other as you go. And you're going to see how music actually creates the environment to continue your subconscious to program it, but consciously you think you're doing yourself a service or a benefit, when in reality, you're actually creating more harm. So for me, I was fortunate that a person who listened to pop and country and such his whole life, well, after his awakening, suddenly I was drawn to classical music. I don't know why. But the expressions that were presented to me in classical music ended up being these beautiful expressions that I could see could raise my vibration. They would raise my frequency. It was almost as if the music was playing with my emotions and my internal state. And it was amazing and beautiful at the same time, because I could see how just a difference in tone and frequency and vibration could bring me up or take me down. And for me, that was a beautiful representation to better understand my inner world, because I wasn't being affected by other things that come out in music. You're going to say, well, what do you mean by that? I mean the vocals. You see, nothing against music created by artists where you learn the music and you sing with the music. But what you have to understand is that words carry power. And when you understand that words carry power, you can understand then how those words created by people a lot of times who were going through something very difficult, how that you connect to those things and you connect to those words. So then when you start singing those words, you start putting that vibration of sound into your being, into your body. I'll give you a few examples. How many of you have gone through a heartbreak? How many of you have gone through the ending of a relationship? I'm guessing most of you. And so what do we do when we're going through that heartbreak or that difficult time? We listen to music that resonates with that. We listen to vocals that resonate with that. We sing along with it because we can feel the pain of the performer who created the music. And we sing it over and over and over and over again. And as we've talked about, this does you a disservice because it puts that frequency into your body. We've talked about the psychology and the science around this. At this point, you understand that the words you speak are the words that your body remembers. We're going to do another video later on your body and the memory that your body carries and why it's important to understand that, because you're fighting against that battle too. It's not just your subconscious mind, it's also the mind body. Okay? It's also the programming that's internal to your body. But we'll do a different video on that one. So what happens is you're speaking these words into your existence. And speaking these words into your existence are going to create an emotional response. And then what happens is your mind falls into that emotional response. And then what happens with that emotional response is that becomes your state of being. So you're already sad, so you sing into it. And singing into it creates more pain into your body that your mind attaches to. And then what happens? You start to cry. Now, crying is very healing. It's very cathartic. But if you're creating the situation to cry and just not allowing the body to naturally cry, well, then your mind is involved in it. When your mind gets involved in it, then you fall into the thoughts. And then all the feelings that come up that are subconscious to you, such as things that you grew up in as a child. I'm unworthy. I'm not good enough. This person didn't choose me because I wasn't good enough. All of those things start to come up into your being. And the problem with that is that, especially after a heartbreak, it's really not the time for self-loathing. That's the time for self-reflection. What is it that I did that helped create this situation? What is it that I need to do for self in order to not continue to repeat these cycles? What is it about the other person that I ended up clashing with? You see, these are all introspective and retrospective ways in order to help yourself to grow and evolve, to heal, to understand self better, and to make changes, especially when you eventually find another person that you want to choose partnership with or a relationship with. You see, most people don't do that though. They listen to the music. A lot of times the music is, woe is me. My world's over. It ended. It's because I wasn't worthy or good enough. Because I made mistakes that I can't forgive myself for. And this continues that perpetual cycle. The perpetual cycle of your subconscious saying, yep, see, told you. This is the same thing your parents showed you. Yeah, see, I told you. This is the same thing you experienced, in when you were being bullied. None of that serves you. So that's why, for me, music without vocals is more meaningful, because there's nothing for the mind to attach to create a story. It just allows the energy of the emotion to flow in you, and you can observe that versus allow your mind to fall into it. I'm going to give you another one. This is going to be an unpopular one. Religion. A lot of people like listening to Christian music and such. Detrimental. Why do you say detrimental, Anthony? Those messages are so beautiful. You see, the problem I have with religion is religion continues to teach you that Creator lives external to you, and that you are a flawed being and sinned, and that's why you need the Creator. Well, what is that message of you're flawed and you sinned and you're not worthy hit in your subconscious? The same thing that your parents taught you, more likely when you were a child. You weren't good enough. You need to prove your love. You need to show your worth and value. You see, the thing that people don't understand is this: if you have children, In your conscious mind, you love those children and you want those children to feel loved and cared for. Generally what happens is your subconscious programming from your parents is what plays out. That's what they pick up on. That's what they see. It's just that one moment where you lose it, that child then records in their being, I'm not good enough. That's why it's very difficult to parent. That's why it's important to really work on self and understand yourself before you choose to create another being. Because you don't understand how much of your subconscious programming is going to attach to their subconscious programming. And you go from being a flawed individual to creating a flawed individual. Now, when you understand that, you think, well, I would never want to harm my child like that. But the thing is that when you continue to choose your value external to you, when you continue to believe that creator is external to you and that you have failed or flawed, put yourself in the position of God. Do you think that's what God wants for you? Do you think God doesn't love you? You see, we go down this thing and we say, well, God sent Jesus, his son, to die for your sins. Well, so if you've got multiple children, do you love one child more than the others? And if it was God that came down to actually do that for you, do you think he actually thinks you're flawed? Or is he trying to reach you to say you are not flawed, and here, I'm going to take this action to prove to you that you're not flawed? So when you listen to this music, what does the music say? I am nothing without you. You are my salvation. Without you, I dwell in darkness. That doesn't sound like the uplifting message that your subconscious needs to hear in order to be reprogrammed. It actually sounds more like you're falling right back into the same patterns that your subconscious was already created through observing all of the things around you, parents, media, poor friend choices early on, television and programming where they're telling you a vision of your life through somebody else. All of these things, they all combine together to create the story that your subconscious is programmed with. And in order to overcome that with your conscious mind, you have to be conscious about what you consume with your mind. Just like when you want to lose weight, you have to be conscious of what you consume in your body. Just like when you hear things, you have to be conscious of what you're listening to, what your ears are consuming, what your eyes are consuming, what your heart is consuming, what your mind is consuming. But what say you? How do you feel about that? Do you feel that you understand that when you continue to make the same choices that you make consciously, you just allow your conscious mind to sabotage your subconscious reprogramming? I'm curious. As always, if you enjoy this content, please like, share, and subscribe. I am truly grateful. Until I talk to you again, peace, love, light. Hope you have the most amazing day.